Can you hear me now?
Yep, I can hear you now.
Okay, I hear you as well.
Yep. No, you just muted. You just mute. Unmute yourself again. Unmute yourself right there. Yeah, you got to just hit. There you go. Yep. You unmuted, but the camera went off when you unmuted.
Okay, now he can you hear
Yep.
me now?
Yep, I can hear you now.
Can
Yep.
you see me now?
Yep, I can see you too.
Okay, we in business. All right.
Absolutely. That's what I'm talking about. All right.
Modern technology is not my thing.
That's all good. It's all good. We're gonna work it out.
One day, what
Absolutely.
doing is here, we'll get down perfection one day.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Trial and error. Trial and error. That's all.
That's all it is. All it
Yeah,
is.
definitely. How you been?
I've been well, man. Busy.
That's
Working on
good.
some new stuff, getting ready for this swift change is going to be coming in, and just want to make sure that I got all my I's dotted and my T's crossed.
Okay. What swift change are you referring to?
Well, there's going to be a lot of economic changes.
Yeah.
A lot of economic changes, political changes. Nothing. I have nothing to do with that. That's something that's going to be working itself out. But the economic changes are the ones that I'm looking at by way of the finances, um, food, uh, different things that's going to be coming down the pike that you need to be prepared for, ready for. As I always say, expect the unexpected, and that's what's going to be happening. But it's going to be happening swiftly. It's not going to be a smooth or a slow turn. It's going to be a swift turn. So like it's like when you say a tsunami is coming, you ain't got much time to do anything other than wait for the water to come and whatever you have to do. So you have to start working ahead. Okay, what can I get done before this action takes place to safeguard myself, my family, whatever I need to safeguard, and hope for the best. Like I said, prepare for the worst, hope for the best.
Okay. So, okay, we can start with that. What type of things economically should somebody prepare for as far as what's coming and to
Okay,
do
well,
rapidly?
we talk about economics, but that's a broad scope.
Okay.
Right? Most people think of in finance. Finance, this is true, yes. But the thing is that, let's say, for instance, that, and this is a scenario that's happened before, and it can possibly happen again. Let's say that the banks shut down. All right, you can't get that. There's a run on the banks now. People who are in the know are going to know, and then most times that the average person finds out, they're always a day late and a dollar short. So the thing is that it's good to have some cash on hand. Because let's say if you need to go to the store and they say, well, we're not taking no more credit cards or we're not taking any more cash, whatever it is, you want to balance things out to be able to have whatever that's needed, you have it. There are people that I know who are buying silver and gold to be able to transfer stuff with. You go to the store and say, well, we're not taking any cash money. We're not taking any paper money. We're not taking no cards. Well, I got a piece of silver here. Will you take that? Yes, we will take that. We will exchange whatever it is. It's going to be like a barter system. Whatever you have that's important, that's valuable to another person, they'll be able to accept that in exchange for whatever your needs are, for whatever you want to do. Like I always tell people, keep your gas tanks full. Don't allow your gas tank to go down no less than a half a tank. If it's down to a half a tank or even down to 3/4 of a tank, just shoot in there before you go home and get a full tank of gas. Have that ready. Always be ready to have that because you don't know what's going to happen because the average car on the road is going anywhere between 400 or 500 miles, at least on a full tank of gas. So you got to think of that, in which direction are you going? You also want to be able to have some staples on hand because they tells you, like if you go to the FEMA website, even FEMA tells people this, the average home should have at least minimum 2 weeks worth of food and water on hand, just in case. That's a given. That's nothing to do with panic, nothing to do with conspiracy theories, nothing like that. That's only good common sense. So if you got at least 2 weeks worth of food and water on hand, then you're doing pretty good. If you want to get more, then get more. But they recommend the minimum. Also, think about protection for yourself and your family. What do you have? Like your your baseball bat ain't gonna do too much good, when it comes down to some things. But it's good to have something a little bit extra on hand.
Mm.
You need that, and if you look around, I've done my research on it. Um, Ammunition is getting harder to get. You can't get ammunition some places. You look for ammo, and ammo is scarce. I mean, it's really scarce. Like I went to some gun shop the other day, and if they had 20 guns in there, they were lucky. They were lucky. And
Mm.
I said, well, what happened? He said, well, people are buying them up. And I said, well, when are you going to get more? He said, well, we don't know. They have no idea when the next shipment of stuff is coming in because it's in such high demand. So when you deal with supply and demand, look what's in demand. And I'm not talking about toilet paper. I'm saying look what's in demand and start to look at that and say, well, I think I better get a little extra when I go shopping. I'm getting extra this and extra that. I'm not going to get this one thing. I'm going to get this other thing just for preparation's sake because you're coming into what is called, and it really isn't, but it's called a new year. But what it is a change in the frequency. It's a change in the energy. It's a change that's taking place. As I said in my video the other day, is that things are starting to evolve. Things are changing rapidly. You see where they're keeping, and the thing that really disturbs me is they keep people distracted. They have to keep you distracted so you don't think about what really is going on. You don't focus on the situation at hand. They got you looking in another direction like an old pickpocket. They'll tap you on the right shoulder, you look over that way, and they're picking your pocket in the left. This is all part of what's being done. This is how the system goes. This is how the game is played. As long as they keep you distracted, as long as they keep you asleep, because the awakening has occurred. People are waking up and they want to put people back to sleep. So they're going to throw whatever they can at the people. They're going to throw money at you. They're going to throw promises of jobs. They're going to do all kinds of shit just to keep you off balance. So that way you won't see what's coming down the pike. Just all this stuff that's happening is all staged. It's not happening by accident. It's all staged. It's all planned. It's also part of what they want to do with what they need to do about keeping people in check, keeping people in control, and not allowing you to expand beyond where you are, to get ready for the next phase of what's going to be coming in. I tell people, keep your eyes on the sky. Keep your eyes on the sky. So I'm going to say with that, keep your eyes on the sky. Because you're going to look up and say, oh shit, one day. Because it's not going to happen at night. It's going to happen during the day.
Mm. Good. That's real good. It's real good to hear. And yeah, people, he is right about keeping your eyes on the sky because it's funny, because I always knew they're already there. They just cloak themselves. I'm not sure what you call it that what they move in and out of, but they're always there. And
Yes. It's just
always.
it's not a thing where they're invisible. It's just that they are vibrating at such a high frequency that they become for the normal eye to see something like that, it's vibrating too fast.
Mm.
It's going at such a but when it begins to slow down, then you say, "Oh, look at that!" And then all of a sudden it disappears again because
Mm.
it's going at a different speed. So you have to look at that. Like I told people on my video the other day, check out the incident that took place in 1994 in Zimbabwe at the Ariel School. I told people to look at that video up on YouTube. There's going to be a movie or documentary coming out next year all about this thing. This happened in '94. Like I said, people always talk about Roswell. That's one thing. That was back in the '40s. This took place in '94 in Zimbabwe, South Africa, at a school called the Ariel School, where over 60 school children saw a event that took place. They all witnessed this event of a ship coming down. They saw beings from the ship. They received messages from the beings from the ship, and certain people went to investigate it. And they drew pictures of everything that they seen. Couldn't be disputed, but they kept it undercover. And one of the main people that went to see these children, he was a world-renowned psychologist, a psychoanalyst. He went and
Mm.
talked to them, and he was at the top of the game. He was at the top. And he went and talked to them and said, these children are credible. And boy, did they jump in his ass. All of the top psychics, everybody that was talking stuff, his peers, dogged him out. And then he was doing in a something with someone else, and unfortunately, he happened to get hit by a bus crossing the street. He was looking the other way, so he said. He was killed in a car accident. So he never really finished what he was doing. But other people picked up the mantle and they interviewed these children 20 years after the incident, put some of them under hypnosis, and he told the exact same story over and over and over again. So this is going to be coming out sometime next year. I don't know when, but you can look it up and look for it. It's, I think I forget the title of it. It's the something that took place in Rwanda school, in aerial school, something like that. But if you type in Rwanda UFO, or if you type in aerial school UFO 1994 and YouTube, you see all kind of videos coming up on it. All kind of videos. As a matter of fact, they were talking about it on Joe Rogan broadcast.
Yep, they were.
They were talking about it on there. So that makes people start to think that something's going on. They don't want you to know what's going on, and they're going to try to keep you in the dark about it. I was looking at the here in Arizona, oddly enough, that the world's most powerful telescope is here in Arizona, and it's owned by the Catholic Church.
Makes sense.
It's owned by the Catholic Church. They're out there looking at stuff and finding stuff that you wouldn't believe what they know. And that's why, if you look at their doctrine, they're beginning to slowly change their doctrine. Slowly, they're putting a little bit of things in it that wasn't there before. But they got the world's most powerful telescope. Other than, not even the government is powerful as this telescope. And they say this thing is even more powerful than the Hubble that's out there in space. They've got stuff up there on top of this mountain. I forget where it is, but it's here in Arizona. I was thinking about going up there one day just to be nosy.
Well, okay. So because I did watch after you said it, I did watch the Sambo, the history of the Africans in Asia. I watched all of them, and a lot of people that I put onto it watched it too on my Patreon. And basically, okay, so because that was incredible as far as the you know the artistry and the drawings, not the drawings, the chiseled. It was chiseled drawings as far as that they knew exactly what was going to happen to us. Now, I just saw the video the other day from Brother Panic, and I watched a lot of Bobby Hemmett too. And then that kind of put it all together for me as far as we knew this was going to happen to us in the exact way it's happening to us. And okay, the question I want to ask, what are your views on something being dormant in certain people? Not everybody, but some of us has something dormant in us that will soon be awoken. And some of us are getting a preview, like me, myself, I get a preview of what's in me soon to be. And not everybody has that. What can you speak on with that being something big inside of us that's waiting to come out, like in the embryo stage?
Well, put it this way. Everybody is not who you think they are. All right? Everyone is different in their own respect. There are those people who have what you call galactic DNA. Okay, galactic DNA. Okay. Like when you go back to the biblical term, but it says that when the sons of the gods, it says in English, the sons of God, but it's plural. It says when the sons of the gods, Elohim, came down, saw the daughters of men, and took them wives of whom they choose. They're talking about extraterrestrial beings having intercourse with females, and they said they produced children who were of renown. These were some badass kids. Not like Bebe, but these were some extra beings. Like they were based on the stories of Hercules, whose father was a god, the wife was a mother, Samson, all these people that had these things. These are all based in truth, but they're in legend as well as in stories, fables and stuff. So all of us do not come, we're not all cut from the same cloth. I'll put it that way. So those of us, all right, those of us who have this galactic DNA is now beginning to stir. It's like when you're here for a reason, but you forget the reason why you're here. So over the centuries, you lose your sight, you lose your mission. So, but then the day and time has to come when the earth is going through a transformation. And those people here who are aware of that, who are conscious of that, realize that it's going through a transformation, and they have to come together collectively to be able to remove themselves from this place and allow what to happen, and then come back and then, for lack of better words, start all over again.
Mm.
But with a higher level of consciousness, you have to remove the unnecessaries to bring in the necessary. And that means that there are people who are not going to ever wake up. I don't care how much you tell them. I don't care what you show them. They're never going to wake up. They're always going to believe that this is it because they have bought into the third dimension mindset. Going back to the Matrix, when Cypher woke up and saw what was going on, he says, "I want to go back. I don't want to wake up and say shit again. Get, give me the blue pill or give me the red pill. Give me whatever pill it is. Put me back to sleep because I don't want to know about this yet because those who are in power who know this. All right, you're not dealing like it says. You wrestle not against flesh and blood, but principalities, spiritual wickedness in high places. These people are not what you think they are. They are not the ones that you want to play around with because they've got their shit together. They've got they've got their master plan and they're working on it. But there are those of us who are out here who are interfering with that master plan by putting out information, doing things that's disrupting it. And so at this point in time, it's good that they're busy trying to argue and fight amongst themselves to let others get together and say, okay, while they're busy over there, we can now get together and start doing what we have to do. We have to become a collective, meaning that we have to have the mind in one accord. When we get together and meditate, when we get together and talk, we are now in one accord. And that's when they say the heavens open up and they come down. So when we get together with others, like-minded people on the same frequency, the same wavelength, that's when things begin to happen. That's when your, for lack of better words, your powers will begin to emerge. Like I said, that the coming of two planets, Jupiter and what was it, Saturn,
Saturn. Yep.
Saturn, Jupiter, when
Mm-hmm.
they come together, that was a sign. Now, if you look at the name Jupiter, who is Jupiter? Jupiter is the chief god, the biggest and the baddest. And Saturn is an offspring of
Mm-hmm.
Jupiter. Do that there research, you'll see. So there's a connection there, but it's more to that. And the thing I want to tell you is this: is that the name of those planets are not Jupiter and Saturn. That's not their name. That's names that people gave them by way of the gods who they worshiped. The name of the days of the week are named after gods people worship. The months of the year is named after gods that people worship. The planets are named after gods that people worship. Those are not their names, but these are to show you the frailty of the mindset of humans to look at things other than themselves as being great. Because when you see things greater than yourself, what does that make you? It makes you nothing. You are less. So therefore, always see the greatness in yourself before seeing it in others. You know. But the thing is that the people who are waking up and those who are understanding how things are going, those are the ones that you want to connect with. Those are the people you want to talk to. Those are the people that you will get information from, as well as from inside yourself, because in your DNA is already encoded
Mm-hmm.
information.
Yep.
And all you have to do is wake it up. Once you begin to wake that up, you'll begin to see, say, oh, this shit ain't what I think it is. This place is this is a temporal place. This is temporal. This place is not to be here forever. You're meant to be other places. And there are those, look up in the sky and you start seeing things that are out there that are going to be becoming visible during the day that they're not going to be able to explain. They're not going to be able to bullshit their way out of it. That's when things are going to break wide open.
Hmm.
And that's going to be happening.
Okay.
Trust me when I tell you, it's going to be happening.
Yeah, I personally can't wait. When you said that, my blood started to boil a little bit in a positive way. Just got really excited, and I'm sure a lot of people who are watching this got excited. Now, a lot of people have been putting a lot of emphasis on what you said, our powers are going to start to emerge. Now, there
Yes.
are many of us that have been, well, many people who haven't been waking up and putting emphasis to the date, December 21st, of their powers. I think they were misconstrued about it. Now, what can you speak of on, I guess, people asking about their powers? Like, where are my powers? Where are my powers? You know, type stuff that they've been
Well,
asking.
you said that reminds me of the movie The Wizard of Oz.
Okay.
What she tells Dorothy, she said, "I want to go home." She said, "You had the power the whole time.
Yeah, yeah,
You had the power.
yeah.
It's that you didn't realize you had the power. All you
Hmm.
got to do is." It was really she saying like meditate. What she was saying, meditate, put your heels together, and say the incantation or
Yep.
say the affirmation of what you want to happen. Happens. There's no place like home. No place like home. Bang, you're home. You click your heels. So it's all part of the science of knowing what to do to activate the energy. What people are looking for is what they see on television, in the movies. They want stuff to be happening. They want all kind of stuff. See, what everybody wants is the burning bush. See, everybody wants to see the burning bush. If they saw the burning bush, then that's it. That convinced me. But what if it's a cat? Remember, it's a cat that wakes you up to something that you didn't know before, and now you realize it. That's your burning bush. Everybody will be raised in its own order, as they say, but you have to be able to pay attention to the signs that are given to you, not
Hmm.
just stop looking for someone else's sign and saying, "Well, but they got this." Don't worry about what they got. Look for your sign. Look for your cue. Look for your CLEW, clue. That's how the word was originally spelled. And if you know what the word clue means and how it was derived, you'll find that when they went into the cavern or to the cave to fight the Monitor or Medusa, whoever it was, they tied a string at the entrance and went along the road. And to find the way back, the string was the clue in order to get out of there. So we look for your clue. Stop looking for everyone else's. Find yours and then activate it because it will be activated. And don't look for nothing super duper supernatural to happen. It will happen to some on a different level, but expect yours to be for you.
Mm,
All whatever happens is going to happen for you, no one else. And then be careful who you share it with,
mm.
if you share it at all.
Absolutely. I definitely agree with you on that one. I learned the hard way on that one. But I appreciate that advice because I think a lot of people are comparing themselves to others and it diminishes their journey and what they came here for. Never
Exactly.
compare yourself.
Exactly. Don't worry about what someone else is doing.
Hmm.
Take care of what you're going to do because as you do and as you not elevate, but as you expand, it's not about elevating, it's about expansion. As you begin to expand, you will begin to encompass other things and other people around you. You see, because
Yeah.
once you become enlightened to a certain degree, your energy field or your aura, as they say, will extend so far that people will be able to pick you up that are miles away because of how powerful your energy field is going to be.
Mm. Interesting. Interesting.
They'll
Wow.
feel your presence.
Wow. Interesting. Interesting. Now, for somebody who is, let's say, fairly new in their journey waking up, what advice would you tell them to say if somebody walks up to you? 'Cause a lot of people around me that waking up and they're asking me a lot of advice. What advice would you give them? And say, well, what is the first thing that you feel that I should do? Because these are the
See,
questions I get all the time.
that's a loaded question.
It is.
Reason why I say that is this: is when people ask you something like that, they want you to tell them something that they should be doing, and as soon as they do it and don't work, well, you told me. You see, so I said, everybody's on their own journey. You choose your path that you want to go down. And all I would advise you to do is pay attention to who you associate with, who you surround yourself with, and what you surround yourself with. In other words, if you're not working on changing your eating habits, if you're not working on moving away from things that you used to do, like I said, you could be in the world but not of the world. So as you begin to separate from the things that you used to do and now are becoming, that will begin to show you the path that you should take. Like I said, people always want to know, what should I do? Do whatever you want to do. That don't help me none. Of course not. Because that's not what you're looking for. You're looking for somebody else to give you answers to the questions that only you can answer, because the answers are in you. You
Mm.
have the answers. Now, we all could be sitting in front of a teacher or in front of an instructor and get information. That's all well and good. That's not a problem. However, when it comes down to a personal part of your life, when it comes down to the personal things that you need to know, that's between you and spirit. You make that connection, because spirit will guide you. It'll show you what you need. It'll tell you what you need, and you'll feel it. You'll see it. You'll know it.
Is oh the reason? Okay, let me tell you, because I kind of loaded the question up and you answered it in the exact way that I knew you would. Is sometimes when, because you say a lot of things that I say when it comes to those type of answers that you give them, but I feel like they need to hear it from you as well, another person that wasn't led to telling the same. Because anybody that you ask, people that are on their mission and have been on their mission for a while, they're going to tell you the answers are inside of you type stuff. You know, you got to do the
Yeah.
hard work. The hard work is going within. You know, and that's why not many people do it. So I appreciate you giving that answer. Okay. So, what can you speak of your knowledge on dragons? Because I've been getting a lot of information on them bad boys. What can you speak on your knowledge of dragons?
Well, see, that's funny you asked that. Matter of fact, today, this morning, I was talking with somebody about dragons
Mm.
and what we are told and what we know. And what funny, what came up was the movie. What was that movie? Ah, shucks. It was one of those. Oh man, we just talked about this movie this morning with the guy, and the dragon was a fire breathing dragon. It was in the castle with all the gold and everything. But what's the name of that
Oh,
movie?
oh, oh yeah, oh yeah. The Hobbit. That's what it's
Yeah,
like. That's
Hobbit
what
movie.
it's
Yeah, Hobbit movie.
called.
Right, right.
Oh yes,
The dragon Smoke, whatever his name was.
that's right.
Right. We were
I,
talking about that particular dragon, and they were. It was made to appear to be an evil being.
mm-hmm.
Right.
Yep.
He was made to be appear to be an evil being because, but he didn't mess with nobody until somebody messed with him.
Came to you. Yep.
You see,
Mm-hmm.
like he didn't go out there looking for you. You all went after him. You wanted to kill the dragon, those kind of shit. And when he was talking to the character, he was telling him things that he was saying that I'm going to do this. You need to do that. You can't do this. And it wasn't about the gold, because the thing don't care about gold, because not that's something that didn't want. But the wisdom of the being of the
Mm-hmm.
dragon that was emanating, and people weren't paying attention to that. We were laughing about how the dragon was telling him all kinds of things he should have been paying attention to. And then when finally it came to a point where they said we got to kill the dragon. And every movie they have is always about killing the dragon.
Always.
Always about killing the dragon. So and so in the Dragon Slayer. This one and that one. That one is always about killing the dragon. Why? Because of the fact that the dragon is there for a purpose, to protect. It's there to defend. It's there to guard for those who are in the right. When the people come out, like I don't blame the dragon, because you come to kill me. Guess what? I'm gonna get you first.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna get you first, because you're not gonna come and just kill me. But the idea of the dragon being evil, no, it's a very benevolent being. It's a being of direct of protection. What I'll do is that I'm gonna call him back tonight, and I'm gonna talk with him again. We're gonna put together something out, and I'll shoot it to you. The
Okay.
information that we get.
Okay.
That way you get what we talked about, and you'll see the interesting things that came up about the dragon, because the dragon is in all cultures.
Mm-hmm.
You have the Chinese dragon, you have the European dragon, you have the dragons of the Komodo dragon, all
Mm-hmm.
these different things. And when you look at the name dragon or dragoon, it has another meaning than what people think it does.
Hmm. Dragoon. Interesting. Okay. 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 So okay, I give you something. What I've been getting on them. What I've been getting on them is they were very intelligent. They taught us a lot, and that a lot of our DNA actually has dragon DNA in it as well. Along with them, it's like we're part dragon. A lot of us have dragon in us, like we're family to them for some reason. That's what I've been getting. So just something, just maybe y'all should go on and check that out too, because
Well,
it's
the
been
thing is
coming
that
on
remember,
strong.
like we share because we come from because the physical body comes from this planet.
Hmm.
Every element that's on their periodical chart is in the body. All right, all those 99 plus one elements that they have on the elemental chart is there's some trace of it is in the human body in some form or another. And the human body is a giant chemistry lab. When it begins to mix certain elements, things together, it forms something totally different.
Hmm.
Um, there's a thing called interleukin 2. I remember,
Interleukin two,
pardon me?
and you said interleukin two.
Yeah, interleukin 2. And
Okay.
what this is for is for removing cancerous cells from the body.
Okay.
And how it's produced in the body is through excitement, through laughter, through joy. When those things begin to happen, that's when it begins to attack those things and get rid of them. Because it was a guy who was diagnosed with cancer and they gave him 3 weeks to live. What did he do? He went and checked himself into a hotel room and found all of the comedy movies that he could find and just sat there and watched them all day and was just laughing his ass off. And 10 years later, he was still around, you see. So there's things that you can do on another level to maintain a certain level of health or wellness, if you want to call it that, you see. So everything that exists in this planet, you're made from. Like it says, if it says it made man from the dust of the ground, look at dirt, everything is in dirt. In the Quran, it says he's made from black mud, fashioned into shape. So you're part of what you are on the planet physically, but spiritually, you're not part of this planet. You're from other places. I'll say that for lack of better words.
Hmm.
And heaven ain't one of them.
Got you. Got you. Okay. All right. Speaking of the heaven thing, what can you speak of your knowledge of inner Earth?
Okay. When you say inner earth, what do you mean? Because like
I
I
mean,
see I see different things when you say that.
okay. So I mean the civilizations that live under us, the dimensions they live under us, and living off of the core of it, as far as that's
Well,
their sun.
it's been discovered for many years, but
Okay.
you'll find that there were people, and we'll say that there were a race of people that were called the ant people that
Mm.
lived inside the earth. They found these there things. I think it was in it was somewhere in Italy or somewhere. They found these caverns, these tunnels, and certain tunnels they had giant boulders that you could roll back and seal them in, and and it was big enough to hold. He said up to maybe 15,000 people. That's how big this one particular cavern was. You want to call it that was hollowed out with all kind of mazes and places people and everything lived. And they were and what the thing about living there inside the earth that the temperature stayed the same. The temperature never went high, never went low. It was a constant, like 70 something degrees
Mm.
of where they lived at. And there are beings that, like in as you call the center of the earth, and just given different names and different depends on who you talk to. Some people call it Shambhala or
Yeah.
Shambhala.
Yep.
Like there are beings that live down there, all right, and they have their own. Um, I would say in this terminology, are really hard in this language, but like your own solar system of how they live, how they survive, right? And they're there. They have been down there for eons. Very seldom do they come up. Very seldom. There are times when they do for certain their missions that they have. They will come up and they will dwell amongst people in order to make their way through to do what they have to do what they do their mission, and then come back. There are also ships that are down there, all right, that are flying around down there as well, that come up from time to time. And they'll come up through the water, they'll come up through certain openings through a vortex. They'll come through, it'll be like a doorway will open that allows them to go in and then come back in. And that's all part of what's been going on. But like I said, like this, we're living in a time of what we call, like I said in my video the other day, revelation, the apocalypse. Apocalypse is not the end of the world. It's the uncovering, it's the revealing. And that's when everything is being revealed now. Things are being shown to you, things are being told to you, things are allowed to come out from where they've been hiding for years to bring in the changes that are necessary for people to pay attention to so that they will be able to not fall victim to what is being planned. There's a, you've heard the Last Poets, of course, right?
Yeah.
Okay. There was one thing they did, one video, one album. It was called Beyonder. I mean, if you listen to this one, very prophetic, very prophetic. They talk about this being called Sir Mannequin, the android jinn, who's made in the likeness of a man. He has cunning and guile, so versatile. He'll do whatever he can. And they're talking about where the people are getting together to try to escape from Earth, to get out of here, to go someplace else.
You mean the
Okay.
people that are in power, right? Like the
Yep.
Rothschilds and those. Yeah.
That's why, and they ain't bringing you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You ain't invited. Like Richard Pryor said, if you look at all futuristic movies, you never see no niggas in them.
That's true.
Logan's Run, ain't no niggas in Logan. All your super movies and stuff, future movies, they ain't allowed too many niggas to be in them. So they let you know where they expect you to be.
Mm-hmm.
But if you listen to Beyonder, and when it talks about Sir Mannequin, the android jinn, made in the likeness of a man, I'm gonna tell you, it's very prophetic, those words. Let's if you get a chance to listen to it. I think it's on YouTube. I got a copy of it somewhere. I'm gonna listen to it again because that's interesting. How
And for
they
the people,
about,
and for the people, it's called again. For the people, what is it called again?
say again?
For the people, for what is it called again that they should listen to?
Of the album?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's called Beyonder.
Beyonder.
Last Poets. Beyonder.
Yep.
Okay, and just take your time, listen to the wording, and it tells you how they got a plan to get out of here.
Yep.
They got a plan to get out of here. You know, already they're on Mars. They've had stuff stationed up there for years.
Mm-hmm.
They've had things up there for years. And even on the other side of the moon, the dark side of the moon, they got shit up there too.
Yep.
But they ain't telling you.
Yep. Yep. They definitely do. And it's funny that you said these people that live under the earth. You said they were sometimes compared to dwell with us. That means that they shapeshift. Do they shapeshift or do they look like us?
Yeah.
Okay.
You can shapeshift.
Yeah.
See, like if you read the Bible, Jesus shapeshift. There's a part in there where it says that people were coming to look for him, and he walks amongst them. They didn't see him. They didn't recognize him. Same as when the angels came to the story of Sodom and Gomorrah. They came to Lot and his family. Come on, let's go. People didn't see them. So there are ways that once you find out how the doorways open and close, how the dimensional doorways operate, and you have the key, you can go back to the Matrix to open the door, you're somewhere else. In Doctor Strange, open the doorway, you're somewhere else. See, now in Doctor Strange, one of the most important things to me in that movie that I saw that was there for maybe a split second was when Stan Lee was on the bus and the book he was reading, the door to perception, the doorway to persuasion or perception, the doors of perception was a book he was reading.
Interesting.
Get a copy of that book or get that download or something, it tells you all about how to open up your DMT. Because what they were doing, they were traveling through different dimensions, different places, and Stan Lee was on the bus, the doors of perception thing was. Doors of, whatever it is, you'll see it on there.
Yeah, I'm gonna check it out.
Check it out, and that will give you insight to how certain things are used to activate your pineal gland through DMT to allow you to visualize or see what the average person cannot see. The only thing is, And I tell people when you're on a journey, make sure you have with you your guides to take you and bring you back. That's why a lot of people do certain things and they don't come back. They're out there strung out and don't know where they are, what's going on, because they were not able to bring themselves back
Hmm.
because they didn't have the guides. You need a guide to take you where you got to go.
So you mean when somebody is on, okay, so for
Let's say
people,
mescaline, any type of natural,
yeah.
okay, natural psilocybin,
Mhm.
whatever it is that you're on, you make sure that it's done for the reason that you need it or you want it to be done, not just to do it. Because that's why when people smoke marijuana, do what they got to do, they're just doing this to get high for pleasure seeking, and then that's not the purpose of what that thing is for. It's there to take you into other worlds, other places for learning,
Hmm.
for instruction, for direction. You see, but we were taught just to smoke it and just get high and then get the munchies and have a good time. All which okay if you want to do it that way, but there's a ritual that's involved with it that you need. That's why when the Native Americans would say they smoked a peace pipe, it was for the purpose of creating peace, harmony, love, not just to go out there and just get that wacky tobacco and start doing stupid crazy shit.
Hmm.
You doing it for a reason. There's a certain ritual. There should be certain types of music playing. Um, Incense should be burning, and you should have direction as to what it is you want to achieve while you are going under, and have with you a guide that will talk you through and talk you back.
Hmm. Good. That's good advice right there. Okay, definitely. Always set an intention for sure. Definitely. But the guide, asking for a guide to walk you back is a
It's
great thing.
important because you don't care how many times you do it. Like you hear about the people always went on that one bad trip.
Hmm.
There's always those people that took that bad trip and never came back. Never came back
Wow. Wow.
because they went and saw something they weren't supposed to see.
That's why I always try to tell people, don't do these things if you haven't been on a journey. You can't be straight off of, I just found out they're trying to kill us through food and think you're going to take some DMT. It's going to mess you up.
You don't do you don't you don't do you don't do that like you don't, let's say, you don't put the horse before the cart. Like you do your due
Mhm.
diligence, and you make sure that you're you're in good hands when you do this. It's not something that you just get up and do. I don't just get up and do stuff. I just have to say, okay, I've got to have you have to have a destination in mind. Where is it that you want to go? Where are you going? Where are you going? Where do you want to go? What do you want to find out? What is it that you're looking for? And when you get that, then you'll be able to say, okay, I'm in the ballpark now.
Mm,
I'm in the ballpark now. And
mm,
then when you're there, I told a friend of mine one time, they kept saying they had these here visions of being in a place, and it felt like it was so real, like you were really there. And I said to the next time that you're there in this place, look around and find, let's say, a stone and pick it up. When you wake up and you look in your hand and see that stone, you know you were there.
mm. Good advice. Okay. Yeah. I'm gonna try it next time I go there.
Do that.
Definitely. Yeah, I'm gonna try it for sure.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Wow. Uh okay, some people have been hitting me up asking me about after this conjunction of Saturn and Jupiter,
Yeah.
uh, including myself, my the dream state is changing. It's becoming um, more more real than it's ever been before with this particular. I'm not sure it has anything to do with a conjunction or people's DNA activating, but people are telling me that, or they're asking me, what's going on in my dreams. Because I'm not really a good person to ask about, trying to tell you what your dreams mean, because I'm still trying to figure out what all mine mean, because it's so much.
Mhm.
But what can you speak to people dream state changing and what the dream state actually is?
Well, see, what you're doing is that you are what they call you are astral traveling.
Mm.
Okay, okay, like it had a word like an astral travel. What is astral traveling?
Hmm.
Astral travel means star. Astral means star. You are a star traveler. Seems like an astronaut. Astronaut is a star sailor. Is what it
Hmm.
really means. Like astro star, not starless
Yep.
sailor. You're a star sailor. So what you're doing is that you are now opening up into other places that you weren't going before. As I tell people, have beside your bed a pad and a pencil. So when you wake up, write down as much as of what happened to you that you experienced as you can remember at that precise moment, and set it down, and then go back to it again a few hours later and read it and look at it and see what else comes back to you. Because the messages that are being sent to you are coming to you in your dreams. Now some people can perceive them, some people can't. And I'm not one to tell a person what their dreams mean to them,
Hmm.
because that's a personal message, a personal mission that you're on. So there are certain things that you will find that are similar. When you see something, for instance, like this. If you're in a dream and you're not walking, you're flying or gliding, what does that mean? That means you have left the earthly plane. You're no longer on earth, you are someplace else or somewhere else. Or you may be in another part of the world somewhere. Because that happened to me one time. I was dreaming when I was in India, and I was at a big tower, wherever it was I was at in India. And it was funny that I went a day or two later and saw a book, opened up the book to a page of the same thing I was dreaming. I was there. I said, okay, I was there. So you're going to be doing a lot of traveling now. People are going to be doing that, and they need to look for the the answers, because a lot of them will find answers in their dreams now. You're going to find the answers that you're looking for when you go to bed. Before you go to bed, put out the intention of what you want to find out. You put it in your intention. I'm going to sleep tonight, and tonight I want to experience this. I want to find out this. I want to learn this, whatever have you, and then let it go and keep doing that until it happens. Because if you do it, and you do it right, it'll happen, and you'll get what you need. And you come back and write it all down and have it, documented. That way you'll be able to go back to it and say, "This is what I need to know. This is what I got to find out." And what's going to happen too with a lot of people is that there's going to be coming a separation of families. Certain people are going to be leaving their families to be with other people who are like-minded. They're
Mm.
going to start doing that because they realize that there's no hope for the family,
Mm.
and them being there is not going to do any good, because all they're doing is trying to convince you of their way, and you're trying to convince them of your way, and
Yep.
it's not going to work, because they are dead sent. Like those people that stick their arm out and say, "Give me the shot." Those people are the ones that you say, "Okay, I hear you," and keep on moving,
Hmm.
keep on getting up.
Yeah.
Because like you're not going to save everybody.
Yeah.
Everybody's not meant to be saved. Everybody's not going to be saved. That means people in your family.
That's when I got the information that I chose this particular family, it made it easier to understand why I chose them. Sometimes I feel like we choose our families because the adversity that we have to become that, we have to be low, we have to struggle with the same struggle so we can overcome it. But we weren't meant to stay with them our whole lives. We weren't meant to build with them. Their time was their time, and I feel like their time was over at a certain point when you wake up and you realize who your real family is. So I try to tell people, don't, because a lot of people, they hit me up and they say, I'm trying to change my family. And I'm like, you're taking away from your energy, because you try to change them. You cannot change them. They have to want to change themselves after a certain point. I think Phil Valentine had spoke on, after, okay, what can you speak about this? After 7 years, right, the subconscious mind is programmed. Would you agree?
Well, even before that, see, the thing is this: is you are programmed from birth.
Okay.
Okay, you're programmed from birth, and you're programmed to accept to live in a world that's already been set up and designed. Okay, it already has structure. It
Mhm.
already has what it needs here to maintain you, and then to enforce that, you're sent to schools, you're sent to churches, and your parents who are also part of that system. You are indoctrinated up to a certain point. So therefore, during the seven cycles that you go through, and each cycle, depending upon how infused you are into the system, will let you know how hard it will be for some people to get out. You follow? So therefore, the subconscious mind is the mind that absorbs everything and never forgets nothing, no matter what it is. And that's why the subconscious mind is the one that takes over in some cases, that doesn't allow the body to do some stupid shit that it would normally do. You see, but then when you override the subconscious and you begin to allow the conscious mind to rule, then therefore that's when things begin to dissipate, fall apart, become unraveled. You're no longer, like you're, like you say, like you're strung out, because like you're living in that, you're trying to live in this physical world, but your subconscious mind is fighting with you, saying you don't belong here. You don't need to do this. You don't need to do that. You shouldn't be. But you're fighting. That's that battle all the time. You see, and as kids in a cartoon, you have an angel and a devil on your shoulder type thing. They give you
Mhm.
that their
Yep.
analogy, that they're constantly battling back and forth. So your subconscious mind is the one that controls everything, because you can't control your own breathing to a point. Try and stop breathing. Something I've told somebody years ago is that the way that the body is constructed, you cannot kill yourself. Okay, meaning this. Okay, try choking yourself to death.
Can't do
You
that.
can't choke yourself. Try to go fill the tub full of water and try to drown yourself. Stick your head underwater, see how long you stay down there before you come back up again. Even if you try to hang yourself, you're trying to take the rope off. It has to come from an outside source in order for you to, because you can't do it by your own hand. You were not created to die by your own hand. Right? It has to be an outside source. With a knife, you can stab yourself in the chest. You get a gun, you can blow your brains out. Anything outside of the body you can use to kill yourself with, but the body itself, you can't do it. Your body doesn't allow you to do that. Your subconscious or your spirit doesn't allow you to do that there on its own. You have to do, you need assistance outside of the body in order to do that. So when you allow the subconscious mind to take over, like when you learn to drive a car, you can't drive the car. Until the subconscious mind says, okay, look, before you kill us both, let me take over. And then that's when the subconscious mind takes over, knows when to brake, knows when to stop. That allows you to talk and do whatever you got to do
Mm.
while the subconscious mind is driving the car, not you. Because you can't do that. You have to think about putting the brake. You have to think about doing this. You have to go through all these different emotions and things in order to do this. And the subconscious mind says, I can do this without your help. I don't need you to think about braking. You brake automatically. You put on your turn signal automatically. You put on your windshield wipers automatically. Everything you do is automatic. Why? Because the subconscious has taken over. And when you allow the subconscious, aka spirit, to take over, that's when things become easy, and that's when things are opened up to you. As long as you try to do it on your own, you're going to mess things up.
That was one of the best examples of a subconscious mind as far as with the car, because come to think about it, you're right. Yeah, you ever been like, you're in a car and then you just like, before you know it, you're at your destination, but you forgot how you forgot, like, when did I do this? The subconscious mind took over. So that was a great example. With the spirit, and what you also said about the spirit and subconscious mind just letting it go, I call that the flow state, just letting it flow. Like,
Yeah.
stop putting so much emphasis on how
Stop,
it's going to
stop,
happen.
stop
Just
the
flow.
resistance. Stop
Yeah.
resisting
Yep.
so much.
Yep.
Stop fighting. Stop fighting so much, because and that's when you gain that confidence. So you gain that self worth, that self esteem, that self
Hmm.
assurance that I can do this. But as long as you lack that, you're not going to be able to do it and do it well.
Correct. Correct. One of the biggest things, the first thing I ever learned when it came to spirituality was the law of attraction. And I learned that off the rip. That's actually what caused me to help me change my life, as far as what I am able to accomplish today, as far as the resistance thing. They always say, the resistance is basically an invisible barrier which will stop whatever you want to happen because you're resistant to it and it won't flow because the universe moving in direction has to move and find a path of least resistance. If you're trying to resist, it can't move for you. You can't get there. And the flow state is the spirit, and you're correct because the spirit knows you can get there. You just
Of
forgot.
course.
Yeah.
You see, we have to recognize that when I explained the other day that everything else on this planet does not come from here. Okay, it's not from here,
Mm-hmm.
meaning it has to be brought here.
Mm-hmm.
All right, like when you like I said when they invented the car was not here. It had to be brought here. You had to get there. You had to go into the realm of where this car existed and bring all that stuff back, everything down to the wires, to the nuts, to the bolts, to the tires, to everything, and put it all together and put it on paper, and then create the materials in order to bring it into existence here. In other words, it just wasn't here. Now, the question that I always ask is that this is supposed to be the year 2020. Okay, why is it within the last 150 years, modern technology has exploded? What happened 2,000 years ago that didn't happen then? Why is it now, within the last 150 years, all this here shit then took off? You go back to the similar time, go back to Sumeria or Sumer, they had the same type of thing. That over a short period of time, the the civilization exploded. All of a sudden, these here things came in, and things they were doing this, they were doing that. We're going to start. All these here things were happening. What happened? What caused that to take place? You see, so it's the same things happening today. What's causing all of this here technology to take place to come in from where? You, like I said, you cannot visualize something that you did not see. If you've never seen a car before, you wouldn't know what to do. You wouldn't know what it was. So you had to have had some type of connection to be able to see this thing in order to bring it into existence. Tesla told people that he was given stuff. He was shown things in dream states of how to bring things into existence. So that's what happens and that's called manifestation. That's the power of manifestation. And we do it every day. When you sit down to have a meal, you manifested that meal. You brought that meal into existence. Whatever it is that you're doing, you're constantly bringing things into existence on a subpar level. But when you really, 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 really think about something and you really focus on it and you really want to happen, it'll happen. If you want to get a car, when you visualize that car, visualize everything about that car from the color to the what's on the radio. You visualize every single thing about that vehicle and you will manifest that vehicle. It'll be exactly what you want. There are people who dream about having a house. They go find a house. This is the exact house I was dreaming about. This is the exact place I was thinking about. This is the exact thing that I wanted.
Yep.
Why? Because you focus on your energy shift change. Remember when I told you guys that if you ever bought a new car, then all of a sudden what happens? You see that car everywhere you go.
Yep.
See that same car because what happens is that your energy has shifted. You have now shifted to a higher frequency to where now it becomes more visible to you, becomes more real to you. You are on that wavelength. You're on the frequency of that car. That's why you see it everywhere you go. You have changed. You've elevated. You have expanded to that level. That's the same thing with anything else. Once you get to that period of time, when you get to be able to have that thought processes, to be able to move in that direction, that's when things are going to happen. That's when you are now the creator. You are creating things. You are bringing things into existence from out of nothing.
Mm. Mm. Yeah. People, y'all better listen to that, man. I'm telling y'all, it really, really, really does work. Really works. And everybody who it works for, we all say the same things, all of us, because we understand this is the recipe. Don't try to change it. Don't try to add your own. Listen, just do it. And trust me, you'll understand how powerful you really are. Okay. So let's talk about, okay, so you were like, that let's talk about you talk about physical ideas from somewhere else came here, but not just but what about other things from other planets? Downloaded I got the dolphins, other species that we see on this planet. Their
Praying
origin
mantis.
is not from here.
Try praying mantis.
Praying mantis, yes, like the bigger, like they're okay. Speak on it. I know you about to. Go ahead.
But they're not from here.
No.
They're not connected to any other species on this planet, other than within their own circle of themselves. Like you could connect other species or other things, you can take them back here, but those things, they're not from here. They're not from here. You have other beings or other, I hate to use the word creatures, but that's a very poor word,
Yeah.
that are not from here. You follow? Like you look at the shark. Shark's not from here. All right. Shark's one of the fewest animals in the ocean that gets eaten. It eats, but very rarely gets eaten. It has no natural enemies other than themselves. You want to look at that. You have so many other species of plants. And the funny thing about this thing is that there are places on this planet that man has yet to set foot. Has yet to set foot. There are places he's never seen, and things that are there that he's never seen that exist on this planet, that he has yet to see and will never see. But it's not meant for him to see. You see, so when we look around, we got to realize that we are not the only intelligent life forms on this planet. There are superior life forms on this planet, far more intelligent than you or I. Just that you haven't recognized them yet.
Interesting. Interesting. Yeah, because a lot of these animals and they ain't from here. And you know what? It's funny because over the summertime, I saw a lot of new species of insects. Came out of nowhere. I don't know where they came from. It seems people say they come from, they came from inner Earth. They were able to get through, but there was a lot of new species of insect. That's one time in my backyard, and it comes up to me, and I'm like, it's looking dead at me, and I'm like, that's not an insect. It's just very small, and it just flies away. What can you speak to that? Like fairies and things of that nature.
Well, see, the thing is that there are things that are given names that people want to identify with, and that they aren't that. What they like, you want to call it, a fairy, or you want to call it a leprechaun. You call it what you identify with, not what it really is. And these are other life forms that exist here on this here planet. Things like you always hear about, Bigfoot or Sasquatch or whatever have you, these type of things. But there are other life forms that exist on this here planet that they're not meant to interact with you because you're dangerous.
True.
You're dangerous. See, that's why when I told you about that incident that took place in South Africa, they said, well, why didn't these ships appear in front of other places? Because you're dangerous. You'll kill them.
Yep.
First thing you want to do is start shooting. Shoot first, ask questions later. They appear in front of a bunch of innocent children. But knew the children weren't going to harm them. So therefore it's best to communicate with those who that are not going to harm you. Like there's a person out there very few people know about, a man named Billy Myers. You ever heard of him?
No, I never heard of him.
Look him up. Billy Myers is in contact with beings from other worlds or dimensions, we have you. And he has taken real photographs, not the blurry ones that you see flying around, not those there. Like Billy Myers is one of the I guess less known, as you call, UFO contactees than most people.
Billy Myers. And you said he's taking real photos that you can actually see.
Look up, man. Look him up.
I'm okay. I'm gonna do that. I'm definitely gonna do that. Okay.
You'll
Billy
see.
Myers. Okay. All
You'll
right.
see.
All right. Cool. Yeah. A lot of good information here today. A lot of good information. Okay. One thing that we had spoke on before, but I wanted you to go into it again because we weren't able to save that recording. You said the coronavirus and the COVID are two different things. Please explain what you mean by the fact they're two different things.
One of them is the COVID-19 is a mutation of the coronavirus. I see it on TV all the time. That one episode of Law and Order I don't know if you've ever seen it or not, but when she says that this person is spreading the coronavirus, this goes back to the early 70s when she said that.
This was in Law and Order?
Yes, on Law and Order, the episode of Law and Order. Just type in and research Law and Order coronavirus and see video and see what pops up.
Okay.
And you'll see where she says that this is because it's a derivative of the SARS, the Corona SARS, the H1N1. They're all different strains of the same thing. Because one thing about viruses, a virus is an intelligent organism, and it mutates. Like certain types of bacteria mutate, like roaches mutate. When you come up with a toxin for them or a poison, it'll happen for a little while, and then it won't happen no more because they are immune to it. It's like when you watch Star Trek and you watch the Borg. When the Borg comes in the beginning, they hit them with those lasers. Then after a while, they get the thing. Okay, we know what this is. You hit them again, shit don't work no more.
Mm-hmm.
And so this is what's going on. So with your corona, and the word corona is like the sun. The sun has a corona, a light around it, and that's what this one looks like. But when if you look at it under the microscope, look at the corona and look at the COVID, you'll see two different things. It's two different diseases. You see, and the COVID is something that, from what I understand, got away from them. They were messing around with trying to find something, and it got away from them. And now they're trying to contain it. You see, it's not what you think it is. It's not what you think it could be. The corona virus, people have had it before. And like now, even the commercial I saw on television the other day with Lysol. Lysol commercial says that Lysol kills the coronavirus or COVID-19.
Wow. Yeah, I think I remember you had mentioned that before, and I had heard something about Lysol maybe about 8 months ago that it was on the back of the can, like saying
Yeah,
it had it in
it's been
there.
on there for years.
Yeah.
For years, it's been on there. And
Yeah.
there are different strains of that too. There's one that's for animals. There's one that's for people. There's one that's for dogs. I mean, each one has its own different set of order that is in. You see, so it's like when I remember when I was in pest control, they were always coming up with new poisons, for lack of better words, to get rid of insects and bugs and stuff carrying on, because they all mutate. It doesn't affect them all over a period of time. It works, but after a period of time, they adjust to where they can come with a new one. And every 3 or 4 years, they came up with a new toxin to fight insects, fight bugs, fight roaches, to fight ants. You see, and the way that they fight ants is that there's too many of them. You can't kill them all. So what do? Let's show you how smart these people are. Is that they know the one thing that the ants live for. The ants live for the queen. That's all their existence is for, to serve the queen. That's all it is. So what they did, they came up with a chemical or a poison that it has to circulate, because before you feed the queen anything, it has to go through the other ants. And if you give them some poison and other ants eat it and they die, the queen never gets it. So they came up with a poison that it would take anywhere from 7 to 10 days before it starts killing. So they made sure that they timed it to the point where if you gave it to them, they would eat it fine. After a few days or so, they take it and give it down to the queen. All right. Once they give it to the queen and she dies, the colony dies. They have no reason to live anymore. They have no reason whatsoever to live. So the whole colony dies. That's the goal. The goal is to get to the queen. Get to the queen, kill the queen, you kill the colony.
That is diabolical. Oh my God.
I'm
They
telling you.
are some, oh man.
So,
Wow.
see, and I say, and when I was, and again, in pest control, the most interesting or fascinating creature to me was the termites. Termites. Termites have the queen, supplementarians, reproductives, soldiers, and workers. That's how the colony breaks down, those 4 different cycles. But when a termite is born, it's none of those things. It's not a worker. It's not a reproductive. It's not a soldier. It's none of those things. It has to be programmed. So whatever the colony needs, they say, well, we need more soldiers in the colony. So the message will be sent out to these little grubs, as you might want to call them. You are going to be a soldier. And that's what it starts to morph into a soldier. But midway through, if they say, no, 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 we need more workers, it'll stop morphing into a worker, into a soldier, and morph into a worker. It's whatever it is, whatever the colony needs, when this thing is born and is programmed, you are told this is what you are going to be. This is what you need to become. And it would automatically adjust its genetic programming to become whatever that thing that the colony needs.
Yeah, that's incredible. It's like would you say they move like a hive mind?
Yes, it's a thing where they all they live for is a betterment of the colony.
Mm.
Whatever's going to benefit the colony is what you will become. You will become a soldier, a worker, a reproductive, whatever we need. That's what you are going to become.
Wow.
You're going to morph into that.
Wow.
And if we don't need you at that point, morph into something else midway through.
Yeah, that's incredible. That's incredible. Wow, I did
See,
not
but you have the same
know that.
ability. See, now, if that can do that, what can you do?
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Wow, that's true. That is wow. That left me a little. That's I didn't know they moved like that.
Yep.
And they just able to just. Okay, so you've looked. Okay, so I'm curious. Okay, so when they send, do they send a? Is it a signal through their consciousness they send to each other of what they
Well,
do
see,
not need?
what do they have? They don't have eyes,
Yeah.
so they can't see. They
Okay.
have antenna,
Ah. Okay. Okay.
and they
Okay.
send signals.
Yeah. Signals.
They
Yep.
walk. Like, you ever see when ants come together, they bend their head down and they use the antennas in between each
Mhm.
other.
Yeah.
Right. That's
Gotcha.
what they send the signal. And so they say like, this is what you need to be. And then their instructions, they all say okay, and they start growing up into whatever that is until they become that thing. Then they go to their duty station to perform their duty, perform their job, do their job.
Yeah.
Like
That's
about
incredible.
pest control, you learn a lot from insects and animals that you would not believe what they do, what they can do, and how they function, how they live, how they outsmart people because they're very intelligent. You're dealing with intelligent life forms. Those are other life forms on the planet. You have to learn to respect them. You have to learn to respect them for what they do because they have a job and a mission to perform as well. But all people want to do is get rid of them because if it wasn't for termites, you would have wood piled up from here to the moon because their job is to eat that wood.
Mm.
When a dead tree falls, nature comes in and says, okay, you need termites, you need fungus, you need water, you need different things to break this thing down so it doesn't just sit there forever and ever. And then another one falls and it keeps falling. So, and an interesting thing with the termites is that they only eat the summer wood. They don't eat winter wood.
Hmm.
Meaning that when you have a tree, it has rings.
Okay.
Ring tree. And you have rings that grow in the winter and rings that grow in the summer. So as the tree keeps growing, the rings begin to expand, makes the tree grow, 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 grow. Whatever the rings were that were formed during the summer is the rings of the tree they'll eat.
Wow, man. And you said you were in like pest control before?
Yes.
Ah, I see. I see. Yeah, well, that's a lot. Yeah, it's funny because when you mention that, it seems like that's how birds seem to move as well. Like a lot of black birds, they move in different forms. They defy the laws of nature. The way they move, they can just stop and then just shift to another direction and then shift to another direction.
Yep.
They just know. They just
Like
know when to
fish.
move at all one. Yep.
You ever seen School of Fish? They all
Yeah.
move at the same
Yep.
time.
Like that too. Yep.
They all move at the same time. But the thing
Mhm.
about the birds too interesting is this: is that um, even like with other animals, is that there are birds who are not born in a certain place. Like I said, the birds that come back to Capistrano, they go back to California, Capistrano. They've
Mhm.
never been there before. How do they know to go there?
Hmm.
How do butterflies who have never been to a certain place know to go to a certain place? What makes them or what brings them to a certain place? What brings them there? See, and if you go back and pay attention to that, is that when you go back to Close Encounters of the Third Kind, what brought all those people to that one place?
Wow. Yeah, yeah, that's it's like on the Matrix, right? When Neo was talking to the what they call the architect, and he was like, there was a program. He was talking to Neo like, there's a program written for birds to move like that or to go to a certain point. Everybody they just know when to do it.
That's
And out of
right.
all, sorry, go ahead.
See, it's all what you just said. That the key word is know. It's all in the knowing.
Knowing.
That's why it says, "You shall know the
Mm-hmm.
truth,
Yeah.
and the truth will set you free." Not believe it, not suspect it, but you will know the truth. The truth will set you free.
Yeah, definitely. And you know, I had to did a post a couple of days ago about reading and the power of it. And you know, people will get caught up like they say knowledge is power. Like they got so used to hearing knowledge is power, they don't realize it's actually physical power when you get more knowledge. And I always try to tell people to do more reading with a physical book in your hand than listening and watching because it's using different parts of the brain that you would never use unless you were sitting there reading, you know, because when you're driving, you know, you can pay attention to different other things. So you're not using all the parts of your brain you would be doing if you're actually holding an actual book in your hand, looking at the words. And what can you speak on the power of reading?
Well, see, reading is very, very powerful in the sense that, as you say, you only have five physical senses that you use continuously: see, hear, smell, taste, touch. Right. So, seeing and hearing are your two most powerful senses on this here plane. Because the thing is that either you're seeing something or you're hearing something. And the thing about hearing, your hearing is the last sense to go before you go to sleep, and it's the first one to come back before you wake up.
Hmm.
Okay, I'll explain it to you in a second. But when you're reading and you're looking at words, what you're doing is that you are also visualizing in your mind's eye of what you're reading. If you're reading something about a guy, he's walking down the street, he went to his house, in your mind's eye, you are imprinting those images in your mind. So that way, if you make it more real. It's like when I was growing up as a child, we only thing we had was books and radio. I mean this. I didn't see a TV set until I was about maybe 8 or 9 years old.
Hmm.
That's when we had TV in our house. Prior to that, all we had were books that we had to read and the radio. And the radio was called theater of the mind,
Hmm.
meaning that it wasn't always music playing on the radio. There were shows on the radio. You had the Great Gildersleeve, the Green Hornet, Amos and Andy, Long John Silver, all these things that would come across the radio in sound. And you had to sit there and hear it, and you had to visualize what was happening. You had the theater of the mind. He was walking down the street, he had footsteps, and he opens the door, and then bang, 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 you hit gunshots, and then the orator is telling you what's happening, what's going on, and you're like, oh wow, and like you're seeing all that going on in your head, but then when you pick up a book and you read it, it becomes more real to you.
Hmm.
It's more powerful to you to read that on printed word on paper, and you see it, and that's going back to what we said before in creating, because that helps you to create, because you are now when you want to create something for real, then what we do is called scripting. Write it down, not just to think about it is one thing. That's one aspect of it. Then write it down. This is what I want. And then when you write it down in detail, and you just write it down, and you write it down, and write it down, and then put it in your pocket. And then during the course, they pull it out, and then read it again, put it away, and then read it again. All you are doing now, you are now creating. You are manifesting. You are now. See, that's when you begin to develop that power. Well, you can do it all the time, but you're not really focused on that any particular one thing that you want to bring into existence. So when you script and you read, you put it together, then it becomes more real, and it becomes more powerful. Like I say, the pen is mightier than the sword.
Hmm.
You see, it's more mighty than the sword because you're able to put it in paper and writing, and people can see it, and then that becomes part of who they are, and they begin to make it happen. You begin to bring things to you that you want to bring to you. And it can work in both positive and negative. And the more powerful the thought or the energy, the closer it can, because anger can create and destroy. Love can create and destroy, depending upon how powerful it is, how powerful you use it, and how focused you are in using it to bring things into existence that you want, that you need to have, more so than what you want to have.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Reading is very powerful. And, you know,
It
it's, you
is.
know,
It is.
it
See,
is
but that's
very
what these
powerful.
people don't do. People don't read anymore.
No, they don't.
You know, like you walking. But what I used to do, like when I used to walk into, when I was in New York, I was walking to Barnes and Nobles, and I looked at that bookstore and said, "Look at all these thoughts of so many people. And that's in one bookstore. It's not like going to the library. Into the library, you say library, where they bury their lies. But you go to the library and you look and see all this here, all this information is at your fingertips that you can find the answers to things that you're looking for. But we've been so dumbed down now that we don't bother reading anymore. We look for hit the computer or we go on watch something, whatever it is. We no longer have the power of the mind is no longer there, and that's done on purpose. That's
Mm-hmm.
done purposely. But when you take away these things, like turn off the television for a week, turn off the radio for a week, and pick up a book, and you see a book that says it has 500 pages. Man, that's a lot of pages. You divide it into 7 days. How much is seven divided into? How much seven is divided into 500? Was that 35, 40 pages a day, whatever it is? So if you can read 30 pages a day of a 500-page book, in a week's time, you read a whole book.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah, I try to give, I try to give myself at least about an hour and some change a day. But the more I do it, the more time is flying by when I'm reading. Because for a long time I didn't read at all, and then I got in my 30s and I started to read more, and I started to realize what it did to my mind. And a lot of us that didn't read, we struggled through school. But that actually put a lot of us into a better perspective to change, because we didn't come into new knowledge with, well, not new knowledge, the real knowledge with a full cup. We came in with an empty cup, so we're able to absorb it a lot easier than other people with their doctorates and their degrees and things of that nature, that are full of things that are put there by somebody else.
Yeah.
So reading is very, 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 very important. And a lot of people who grow up thinking they're dumb wind up finding out they're a genius.
Well, first of all, let's clear that up real quick.
Okay.
Let's clear that up real quick. The word dumb does not mean what people think it means.
Okay, educate me, please.
Okay, the word dumb means dummy, meaning you can't talk. If you're deaf and dumb, that means you can't talk, you can't hear. Hence the ventriloquist dummy. Dummy can't talk, you put words in his mouth. You follow?
Mm-hmm.
So when a person is dumb, it has nothing to do with intellect. If I said you're dumb, then I'd be lying, because you're not dumb, because you can speak, you can
Okay.
hear. So
Okay.
if you cannot speak, then you are a dummy, as they say in sign language. That makes you dumb, not intelligently. There's nothing to do with you being like. I gotta say you stupid,
Mm-hmm.
okay, but you're not dumb. No one is dumb unless they cannot speak, and
Gotcha.
that person is a dummy, as they say in their language, in sign language. So the person is deaf and dumb. That person is a dummy. Like you have a little puppet, he's a dummy. Nothing to do with intellect.
Got
Nothing at
it.
all.
Got it. Yeah, our language, the words that we use, like let's say insane, that means that we're insanity. That should really say outsane. Like these words and this language has been so twisted that we use a lot of words that we don't even know what they truly mean.
Okay. Like
It's
for instance, the word bigot. What does that mean?
okay, bigot. Okay, bigot.
What's it mean?
Somebody, go ahead.
No, I'm asking you.
Oh, somebody who feels like they're better than other people, like bigot. You feel like I'm like that's what I thought it meant. Bigot. That
Well,
you're
no, but it means that you're right on the right track. It means
okay.
that you have your own view about something.
Okay.
You have your own opinion about something.
Okay.
You have your own ideas about something makes you bigger. Nothing to do with race.
Okay.
Nothing whatsoever. But they twist it around.
Huh.
You're a bigot. You know what the hell you're talking about? Yeah, I'm a bigot. Everybody's a bigot. Because everybody has their own views about certain things that they adhere to. That makes you a bigot. Doesn't have anything to do with you. You're being see, and the thing is too is that that's why when you go back and look at what Malcolm X did when he awoke, one of the first things he did was read the dictionary, and he found out one thing about dictionary. It's not a dictionary; it's a definitionary, because it teaches you nothing about diction. And you'll find that 80% of the words in the American dictionary come from other languages. They're not, because the thing is this: you don't speak English, you speak American. People from England speak English. People from Spain speak Spanish. People from Colombia speak Colombian. People from Mexico speak Mexican. People from Guatemala speak Guatemalan. People from China speak Chinese. People from America speak American. You don't speak English. Because when you listen to somebody that's from England and they have a whole different dialect, a whole different language than people here in America speak. And that's true. We have no idea of what the language means or what words mean. We always take it for granted. When we say the word, we think we know what it means and we just use it. And people that know, people who are polyglots, who study language, when they hear people speak like that, they laugh. Because they know they don't know what they're talking about.
Sheesh. Wow. All right, let me ask you a question. Do you know of any books that you could point anybody to that will break down the definition of, well, the real origin of these words that we use from?
Give me 1 minute and I'll show you the book.
Okay.
Just looking at it the other day.
Perfect. Some good stuff, y'all. I'm telling y'all, this is good.
Can you see that?
Webster's new. Okay, let me write this down. It says Webster's new Explorer Dictionary of the word. What's that?
Of word origins.
Word. Okay.
Anybody can see it now?
Yeah, I can see it now. Yup. New Explorer Dictionary. Got it. Yeah.
This will surprise you. You get that book and read it, and look at where words come from, the origin of words. It'll surprise the hell out of you.
Oh yeah, I can't wait.
That's why when I hear people say things, I got this book. I said, I don't mean that, but I let them have it.
Yeah, people don't. We really don't know what we speak. It's just that we're taught, and we're trying to discover, and this is going to help us out a lot to discover what we're actually saying.
See, once you understand and know a language, that gives you a way to communicate. But you can't communicate with the people who does not know the language. You see, they don't understand the language. They think they understand the language, but they don't, because they've accepted what's been told to them as far as what words mean, what the definitions mean, all those different things. Like when I have these on, years ago, these were called spectacles. Now they're called glasses. See, when you go back to the origin of words, you find the meanings meant something different than they do today. They switched like, for instance, years ago, a fag. You know what a fag was?
The bundle of sticks.
No.
What was it?
That's one way of looking at it. A fag was a cigarette.
So where'd they get the bundle of sticks from then?
That goes back to your what's that there? That fascist symbol. Those are these fascists with the axe stuck in it and a bundle of sticks. That's a fascist symbol, right? And they're correlated with that being a fag. But when you and the word Lucifer meant fire. Now there was a song that was many before I was even born, going back in this body. It says, pack up your troubles in your old kit bag and smile, smile, smile. Next verse, while you've a Lucifer to light your fag, smile, boy, that's the style. In other words, while you have a Lucifer, a match, to light your fag, a cigarette, then you're doing good.
When did the song come out? Like 60s,
That
70s?
came
What?
out back I think it was in the First World War.
Okay.
That was
Wow.
when this new song, "Pack up your troubles and your old kid bag." And that's how it would go. Smile, smile, smile. While you've a Lucifer to light your fag. Smile, boy. There ain't no sense in worrying, whatever it is. But but back then, those people understood the word fag to mean a cigarette.
Hmm.
So if you say, "Hey man, you got a fag?" Yeah, I'm here. You have your cigarette. But now they twisted it around. They take same as the word ghetto. The ghetto was the word I wrote something on it years ago. I said, let's give ghetto back to the Jews because that's where the word came from. The Warsaw Ghetto. They lived in the ghetto. In ancient Roman times, they lived outside the city in the poorest part of the city. It was called the ghetto. That's where the Jews lived. You look and research the word ghetto and look it up for the Jews in the ghetto. You'll see that they had even places called the ghetto. But what did they do in the 60s? They threw it on black people. So y'all live in the ghetto when they took the Jews out of it. So the Jews
Damn.
are the ones where people lived in the ghetto for the black people.
Damn. Damn.
You can go look it up, research it, and you'll find out. I wrote an article on it on my YouTube, on my Facebook page years ago. I said, let's give the ghetto back to the Jew. And it wasn't meant to be derogatory, wasn't meant to be offensive, but it was the truth. And I put in the paper where it said the Jews live in the Warsaw Ghetto.
Wow. Wow. What about okay, project? Project. Where does that come from? The project.
What's a project?
Like a
I'm
science project.
working on a project.
Yeah,
And
project.
if
Yeah.
you notice about the projects were built like the jail cells
Yeah, they were. Hmm.
because they didn't have sheetrock walls. They had cinder block walls. You couldn't hang up your pictures. You had to drive a nail through the cinder block wall.
You're right.
And when you walked down the hallway, you was cinder block. It was a jail. It was jail. It was a project to see how things work. Let's see how this project works with these people
Hmm.
and see how fast we can get them in there. And what did they do? The project was not the place. The project was one of the most dangerous places you could live in.
Hmm.
They would be pissing in the elevators. The elevators didn't halfway work. Oh, right on the inside. That was a project just to trap, just to put those people in, those black people, just to see how they motivate. You were a study. You were a study in progress. Let's see what happens when we put them in these big high-rise buildings and how they act. This is the project. Let's look at it. This is the project. And then we take notes on it. And then we figure out what to do. And we'll play with the water. We mess with lights. Let's see how they react. So now they got you confined to what they call the inner city. You're not in the city. You're in the inner city where that's where you stay. On the outskirts of town, you don't belong there. Get out. Go back. To keep you away from the suburbs, as they called it back then. But you lived in the inner city in the project. Let's see what this project does. Let's see how this project works for these people.
Hmm. Wow.
And you go, like I've been in many projects, and every time I'm going in, I've been in prisons too. When I was visiting certain things, did certain things in there when I was working with somebody in a maximum security prison. And the walls are just like in a prison cell made of concrete cinder block.
Hmm. Sheesh. Sheesh. Okay, so now with all that being said, as far as all the damage that's been done to us as melanated people, what do you see, or what do you believe is going to happen to us in the near future as far as this shift? Does this shift benefit us, or is this shift going to damage
Well,
us?
it depends upon, see, nothing is etched in stone. Let's
Mhm.
make that clear. Okay, nothing is etched in stone. It depends upon how the people respond to what's going to be taking place next. Like I said before, the key is unity. That's the key. That's your key of survival, where you have to come together. Gil Scott said, unity will be thrust upon us if we don't come together ourselves. So we've got to put aside our petty indifferences. There's certain things that we argue and fuss about that are not that important, because when the ship sinks, we all going down. It don't matter whether you on the first deck or if you on the low deck or if you on the poop deck. It doesn't matter, because when the ship goes down, everything and everybody goes down with the ship. So when they say Babylon the Great is fallen, it ain't gonna make no like when it rains, who does it rain on?
Everybody.
That's right. It doesn't make no distinction. Like you said, the sun shines on the just and the unjust. So
Mhm.
you got to pay attention to what's going on. And unless we can come together and put aside what our differences are that are not that important, really, in the scheme of things, it's going to keep us divided. So that's why they play the divide and conquer game. I can tell people, read the Willie Lynch letter. If you haven't read it, read it. I don't care when it was written or who wrote it, who didn't write it, but the contents of that letter is very profound because it's describing what is taking place today. Like it says in the beginning of the letter, I'm going to give you something that's going to last forever with these people. I'm going to show you something where you don't have to worry about a thing. We ain't got to worry about them no more because we're going to instill in them these ideas, these thoughts, these feelings, so that way it will be passed on from generation to generation to generation.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the truth. That's the truth. Put the light against the dark, the fat against the skinny, old against the young, the man against the woman, divide and conquer. That's why when the slave master wanted to punish the slave, what did he do? He went and got 5 slaves to punish one. What did they do? One slave grabbed one arm, other one grabbed the other arm, other one grabbed one leg, the other leg, and they gave the other one the whip. Now whip him. You whip him. And what did that do? That made animosity. You look up at him, and why you got to whip me? Why? So where was your hatred? Your hatred was towards the one that was doing the whipping, not
Yep.
towards the slave master. You got to remember is that when that took place, when slavery took place, you went from a slave trader to a slave maker to a slave master.
Mm-hmm.
They did not bring you off the boat and say, here, go out there in the fields and work. No, you had to be like you do with a wild horse. You take a wild horse, you capture him, you bring him to a trainer. He trains the horse, breaks the horse down, breaks the spirit, and then gives him to the man, say, now you can ride him. But if he can't break the spirit of the horse, what does he do? He kills him.
Mm-hmm.
The same thing with black people. When they couldn't break the spirit of the man, kill him in front of everybody. You put fear in him. And that's what happens. And that's what took place. And it's still taking place today in its own way. Its own way. So until we, as a whole, can put aside our differences, and say, look, we got to get together. Or if not, what was it? When old Patrick Henry said, we don't hang together, we all hang separately. So it doesn't matter of coming together and say, look, let's sit down and for the minute, let's put aside what I don't like about you and you don't like about me. And let's see if we can come together and form something that's going to be beneficial for everybody. And once we get it set up, then we can work through our indifferences without trying to kill one another in doing so. That's your key. That's what needs to take place. As long as I look at you and I see you as my enemy and I see you as somebody that I don't want to be part of, then that's fine with those people. Say, well, good, keep them like that. Keep them like that.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we want. We want them to be like that. And so what they'll do, they'll make 1 or 2 of them rich. They'll go out there and spend on the bling. You look at them, you get jealous of them because they got this stuff. They got stuff you don't have. And all of that feeds into the lower vibrations of who you are and the lower frequencies. And that makes you want to go out there. And you will go out there, kill a person, and then have the, I don't know what you would call it, and kill them and take their shoes and put their shoes on your feet.
Mm-hmm.
The man you just killed for a pair of shoes. And you put them on your feet and walk around in them, you're dangerous. You're the devil. You say the white man's the devil? Oh, hell no, you're the devil.
Mm-hmm.
Do some shit like that. You gonna kill a person, take their clothes. I mean, you kill somebody for something that they have, and then you use it as if it's yours? Like you bought it, like you own it? What kind of being are you? You are the devil.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care who you are. I don't care what you look like. You look like me all day long. You still the devil. And you need to be punished. In whatever way they choose to punish you, I don't feel 1 iota of pity for you. Because it takes a devil to do some shit like that. And stuff that's being done to people, no. So we've got to come together and say, look, we cannot allow this to continue to happen because we allow it to happen. We allow it to happen. When the new Jordans and stuff come out, don't buy them. Take your money, get together and walk into the line and say, look, brother, you, let's get together and try and do something constructive with this money we're going to buy those Jordans. Let's buy something else that we all can use as a whole, as a people. Let's do that rather than going there and spending money on something like that. You don't need it. It's not going to benefit you in any way, shape, form, or fashion. Just as a fashion statement. Don't need it. Don't want it. I want to build with somebody. Let's build. Let's start from the bottom and work our way up. Other people do it. Why can't we do it? Why don't we do it? Because we're taught to hate ourselves. Like Malcolm said, who taught you to hate yourself? You hate the color of your hair. You hate your skin color. You hate where you come from. And he said, I live nothing in Africa. He said, you left your mind in Africa. You know? And people say, I'm not African American. I'm an American. Okay? If you're an American, then why do they have to pass civil rights bills for your ass if you're an American? They ain't doing it for no Polacks. They ain't doing it for no Chinese. They ain't no bill saying that they have to allow the Chinese Americans so-called to vote. But they got to pass a bill for you. You're an American. You're born here. And they got to do special considerations for you. You should have those rights automatically. You should have that right automatically. They'll call it civil rights. Well, since when have we been uncivil? What kind of shit is that, civil rights? So the games that are being played, we are falling for them every day. And they come at a way that you're dealing with a master manipulator. This man is a master at tricks and deception. Like it says, the devil can come to you as an angel of light. Don't be fooled by these people and the shit they do. Don't fall for the games. Don't fall for their tricks, their lies, their treachery. Tuskegee was your sign. That was done for a reason. That was done for a reason. And every day, a post I put up about a week or two ago on what they do, what do they call those things? Callbacks. They do callback drugs. Certain things they say, like, well, this drug we found out that this drug causes this, and this drug, after it's been on the market for about 3 or 4 or 5 years, now they're finding out that it causes all kind of problems. Johnson's baby powder causes cervical cancer. And baby powder's been out since I was a baby. People have been using it. Now, here it is, 100 years later, damn near, oh, well, this stuff here is poison. Now they tell you. So if you want to fall for the game, and if you want to get played, then keep on playing the game. I'm not.
Absolutely.
Game's over as far as I'm concerned with them. I know what I have to do. I know what I'm going to do. And I'm going to keep on doing it. You know, whether those like it or dislike it, doesn't matter. They may agree or disagree. Doesn't matter. But one thing I know for sure, that if we don't come together, shit ain't going to happen. Ain't going to work. And we're going to be sitting back wondering why. We've got to come together. That is the key. Sit down. Let's talk. Let's put aside our differences. Let's not make that an issue because it's not that important. We got to look out for one another. If your house is on fire, I'm going to fight whatever I do to help you put the fire out in your house. And I wish you would do the same with mine, if it comes down to that. But we've got to come together by any means necessary.
Definitely, I agree 100%. And you know, I look at things and, you know, the state of our people, and it's just a lot of infight, a lot of envy going on. That's all I really want is for us to come together. You know, I really just look at it, I'm like, man, for us to come together is going to take a hell of a smack right in the mouth for it to get us to come together. So
it will have to take that. It will take something of a cataclysmic event to pull people together. Like I said, the universe works in one of two ways. It'll tap you on the shoulder to get your attention or kick you in your ass.
Yep. Normally, when it kicks you in the ass, it's gonna be something
Kicking
that you
ass
ain't
you
never
don't want.
forget.
Kicking
Yeah.
ass you don't want. I've experienced that, so I know.
Mm-hmm.
I know personally about a kick in
Mm-hmm.
the ass.
Yep. Definitely. Definitely. Well, I want to say thank you, for coming here today again and giving the people a lot of this knowledge. I appreciate it. We appreciate it. And we're going to be taking this information in, doing the research on what you said. Anything that you want to leave the people with today?
Oh well, get your organized pendants. Oh,
Yeah.
did you get my email?
I got it. Okay, yeah. Cause I had went to my family's house last week and my mom, my sister, because I did the whole, I showed them the strength test and everything, and
Yeah.
they all wanted it. My sister actually emailed you and said she messaged you on Instagram, said she wanted to buy a bunch of them. So I was like, I'll just buy them off of them. Just let me know which one you want. And she told me what she wanted. She wanted, so I'm probably gonna buy like 10 of those from you like tomorrow.
Okay, well, I'm gonna tell you this here. I'm gonna give you the first thing.
Okay.
Tomorrow, I'm putting a certain set on sale
Okay.
for $10 a piece.
Okay.
Tomorrow only, New Year's Eve. I'm putting them out. I ain't posting them yet. I'm gonna post them tomorrow.
Okay.
I'm gonna have them in different groups, and they're gonna be $10 a piece just for that day and
Okay.
that day only. I'm gonna group them. You'll see them. You can screenshot the ones that you might like, or you don't, whatever it is. And I'm letting you know first. You're the first person I'm telling this to.
Got you.
I'm giving you the heads up. So tomorrow morning, whenever time I get up, I'm going to post them, put them on my page, and I'm going to run them all day from up until midnight tomorrow night to New Year's Eve, whatever it is, the bell drops or the ball, whatever it is. After that, they're going back to regular price. So I'm
Okay.
giving you the heads up first. So just keep an eye out. Put out what you call a bolo.
Yep.
You know what a bolo is, right?
Yeah, was it buy one, was it buy
No,
one?
BOLO.
Oh, okay. So what's because I know the BOGO. What's the BOLO?
BOGO, but buy one get one like that. That's something
Yeah,
for the bolo. The bolo is be on the lookout.
I got you. Okay, okay.
See, that's what police say. Police, I'm gonna put out a bolo.
A BOLO. Okay, be on the lookout. Got you.
Be on
Got
the
you.
lookout. So
Got
I
you.
guess I'm gonna put them up there tomorrow morning.
Okay.
Sometimes certain ones. It's not gonna be in a group that I sent you.
Okay.
It's gonna be a different group.
Okay.
You'll see which ones those are. Those might be interested too. But get a good look at them, and I'm gonna put them out tomorrow and see what happens.
Okay.
It's a
Perfect. Perfect.
pleasure.
I'll
It
check it
was a
out.
pleasure talking to you. Um, I, um, I spoke with the brothers Solomon,
Okay.
the guys that
Okay.
you met to play the guitar,
Okay. Yep. Yep. Yep.
guys you met, and he said he had wanted to hang out with you guys.
Really?
And he says, "Yeah, I want to hang out with those young fellows, man, because those young fellows they're very knowledgeable, and he's very impressed with you. He's very very impressed with all you guys." He said those young fellows there. He says it was good to see them like that. I said, "Yeah, I know, yeah." So, but other than that, just I'll say this here: keep your head to the sky. In
Absolutely.
due time, you'll know why.
All right. Absolutely. I appreciate it. And
Okay.
you and
So until the next time, my brother, like what Don King say, peace, love, and soul.
All right, man. Peace. And you enjoy your night. Keep my head to the sky and to the next one. We'll talk.
Okay. Just
All
let me
right.
know when are you going to edit this one too?
Yeah, I'm gonna edit this one and I'm gonna send you the link because I'm at what I'm actually planning on doing. I normally give the videos to my Patreon first, wait a couple weeks, and then I put it on YouTube. So the first one that we did, I'm gonna put on YouTube beginning of the year, and then this one I'm probably gonna put on YouTube a week after that. Because
Mhm.
so then you're gonna be getting a lot of influx of people asking about the Organite after those videos.
Okay, no
So
problem. It's cool.
yeah, I always let my Patreon get to you first, and then I go to my YouTube with it, and then my YouTube people will hit you up with the Organite and want to know, who you are, knowledge and everything. And that's when it's really gonna
All right.
come for
Sounds
you.
good. When you come back this way again?
Well, I was thinking about bringing my family up there. My family, they haven't been to Arizona. I wanted to bring my family up there. My wife and my two sons. I wanted to bring them up there so they
Mm-hmm.
could come see, and you could tell me what you see in them. And I had talked to them a little bit because I think that I tell my sons a lot of things, but you know what happens when you're constant. It doesn't hit as hard when you're
Yeah,
always,
well,
you
yeah.
know. Yeah.
That's always how it is. It's funny where like I experienced that with people and their husband and wife where I'll say something to the wife and husband say, "See, now I told you that. Did I tell you that?
Yep.
See, she didn't listen to me."
Yep.
But I understand that, but
Yep.
that's how it is, because what that thing is that A prophet is not. It doesn't have any honor in his own country. The
Yep.
people that know that guy, man, I know this dude. I know, man.
Yep.
Jesus, that guy, I know him. He's a carpenter's boy. I know him. He ain't
Mhm.
all that. And
Yep.
that's how it is until somebody else says it. Oh, really? And then, but that's good. That's as long as they get it, they get
Yeah.
the information, then they know. You
Yeah.
know.
I just plant the seeds, and it'll hit when it hits, but I plant the seeds and normally,
That's what you got to do. That's all you
yeah,
can
just
do.
plant the seeds, so
All
we'll
you
probably be
can do.
coming out there sometime in like January, maybe February, because my birthday's in January, so I wanted to go somewhere, so I'll probably be doing a January, February, coming out to Arizona, come pay you a visit and tour around a
Okay.
little bit. They'll like it. They'll love Arizona. They'll love it.
Oh
So
yeah,
yeah.
they will. Like even in January around here, it's not that bad. It's not that cold. It's
Okay.
still very pleasant up here,
Okay.
especially in the summer.
Yeah, perfect, perfect. That's what I'll be doing then. I'll call you and let you know, give you a heads up before I come.
Okay, bet. That's cool.
Absolutely. Okay. All right. Well, you
Sounds
enjoy
good.
your night, and we'll talk. And then I'll send you the link for this
Okay,
probably tomorrow. Tomorrow.
okay, that'd be cool. Thanks a lot,
Okay.
man. I appreciate you.
Absolutely. I'll be hitting you up tomorrow for the organite.
All right, bet.
All right. You enjoy your night.
All right, man. Peace and
All right.
love.
Peace and love.